You're listening to the AZREIA Show. If you're looking for quality real estate investing information that you can trust, you've found it. Stay tuned and join the tens of thousands of members that have already benefited from AZREIA, your home for education, market information, support, and networking opportunities that will advance your real estate investing career.
Hello. Welcome everybody to the AZREIA Show podcast on all podcast platforms and YouTube. Welcome to the AZREIA Show. Once again, I'm flying solo on this episode, and today I wanted to talk about Robert Kiyosaki's Cashflow Quadrant, identifying your investor profile. Where are you at in the Cashflow Quadrant? So first and foremost, if you don't know who Robert Kiyosaki is, you're definitely going to want to check out his original book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. It's the book that just launches everybody off and changes that mindset from employee to investor. So that's first your homework right off the bat. Start taking action. Go read that book. And so what he talks about in that book is the cash flow quadrant, right? So let's talk about and dive into what that quadrant is. There's 4 sections we'll talk about. We'll break each one down and we'll help you determine where you're at and how do you get to the next step, the next level. So we're just going to kick it off, right? So understanding the cash flow quadrant. The first one is, and now you're in your head, you're sitting here, you're looking at a cross, right? We're in the top left. He usually has an E there. E stands for employee. Works for someone else. Income is earned through a job. So you trade your time for money. Hey, Mr. or Mrs. Boss, I will work 40 hours a week for $20 an hour. And that's it. Just straight money and time. That's all you're doing. Okay. Now, the second one going down south of the letter E, where it's self-employed. So when you're self-employed or a small business owner, you wear all the hats. You're the janitor, you're the bookkeeper, you're the sales rep, you are the owner. So what usually happens here, well, you can't leave your business for 30 days and come back to a well-running machine because you are the machine. This is, maybe small dentists, licensed life insurance or insurance reps, real estate agents, attorneys, just small business owners that wear all the hats and all the responsibilities. Now that's the left side of the quadrant, E and S. Now let's shoot over to the right side. Top right, the letter B. That's a business owner, a big business owner, someone that builds out a system and put in processes and puts people in place to run those processes, which ultimately generates an outcome, which is revenue. So a lot of people get upset. Hey, that CEO is on the golf course, it makes $1 million a year. They don't do anything, whatever it may be. Well, it's because they created this system that generates money. Let's go south of the letter B to the letter I. That's an investor, what we're all here to be. So their money works for them. It's generated through investments. So basically they have $1, like a little army soldier. They put it out into the world and jobs bring another soldier back and more dollars back. Simple as that. While the systems and other people, the leverage of the other business, a business or another investor does the work for them. So what Robert Kiyosaki always says, the E and the S on the left side, if you're on that side, active income, trading time for money, you want to get to the right side, to the passive income, leveraging systems and investments to do the work for you and grow your wealth. So that's the goal of this. And what we do, if you're new to this or you've already read the book, he also has a board game called Cashflow 101, we play this game on the first Saturday of every month here at our Central Phoenix office. So you could always go to our calendar on AZREIA.org and check that out. It's about 2 hours. We play for only 2 hours. It probably can go longer. It's about getting out of the rat race, right? So we all, as an employee, small business owner, right, we're in this circle of paycheck to paycheck, bills, unfortunate life, unexpected situations that cost money or time that throw you off. And you're always just waiting for that next check to come in to pay the bills, right? So within that game, it shows you that you have these opportunities in real estate that cross your path, and you have an opportunity to make a decision to participate or use these opportunities that come across your life to build assets and wealth, so you can buy enough property to where the cash flow from the property exceeds your monthly living expense. That's technically the financial freedom number. So if it costs you $5,000 a month to live and the lifestyle that you like, the goal is to go out and get enough assets that generate money every month without you being the employee or the small business owner, and to cover that expense. So you're technically financially free and out of the rat race. So when I first started, I was recommended to play that game by a mentor. I thought he was crazy. I'm like, I'm an adult. I quit my job. I'm in real estate investing, and you want me to go play a board game, right? So it's not Monopoly. So no, let's not get it confused. Monopoly, the goal is to play with your friends and bankrupt them, whereas Cashflow 101 the goal is to build wealth and do joint ventures and do it with people, right? And grow together and help each other get out of the rat race. And that's the mentality that we have here at AZREIA. So definitely check out playing Cashflow 101. So that's your second assignment. Check out Cashflow 101. So now that we went over the quadrants, let's dive a little bit deeper. So where are you now, right? So let's identify where you're at. So let's see, think about, where you're at, your income. So now that you're thinking about your situation, some common characteristics of an employee. So, right, we already said it, you work for someone else. You probably prioritize, job security and benefits and health insurance. Some predictable income is probably what you're looking for. The good thing though, is, it's steady income. You're in a structured environment. So if you're not really, wanting to take on all the risk, that's probably why you're there. Some cons: you have limited control over your income growth, right? You're tied to one stream of income. I was always taught the more streams of income you have, the more financially healthy you are. Now, luckily, I remember the Great Recession. I was, between my wife and I, we owned a hair salon. She also cut hair. I was wholesaling houses. We have rental properties, right? So just right there, that's 4 sources of income, right? If you just have a job and your industry, something happens within your industry, that job is gone. So who's in a healthier financial situation, right? The one with more streams of income. So that's limiting. Let's jump into self-employed. So your income source, you're working for yourself. You may be a freelancer, consultant, small business owner. You value control, right? If you want to take the day off, you can, right? You do have more flexibility in your schedule, but you also work 24/7. Now, that's, which is a good thing, the flexibility of operating the property. But on the other side of it, your income's tied to your effort. It's what you do. You eat what you kill, right? So if you're not writing offers, or you're not selling, or you're not maintaining customer service, that will show in your business. So let's switch over to the mindset of a business owner. So you generate income through systems and employees. The business can operate independently of your direct involvement. Your mindset and your thoughts are focused around building the systems that we talked about. You're also now delegating responsibility to employees or others, right? Which is a big hurdle when you're an employee or a small business owner, right? You're just like, hey, if I want it done right, I'll do it myself. So that is a common thing that people are it's hard to part with. I remember even just with an assistant. I remember before I had an assistant, I would just be like, why am I just having someone schedule my calendar and setting up appointments and scheduling meetings and whatever it is, conferences, Zoom calls. I'm like, it takes 2 seconds. I can just do it myself. But once I cut that off and just forwarded, the first part was trusting someone to do it right? That's the hard part. You got to train them, right? They will make mistakes. No one's ever going to do it as good as you, is how you think about it, right? But if they can they could do it at least 60% of what your capability is on that task. And also I've learned that people are better than me at lots of things. So you got to have a little trust there first, and then you got to delegate that out. And that's what big business owners do. They're building the systems, they're hiring employees, and they're delegating these efforts. So the outcomes that they're receiving are no longer just on your efforts as a small business owner. So you can grow your company. You always hear that word scale, right? Scaling your company. And once again, your efforts are based on multiple people versus just yours. But you do have to be a good leader. You do have to have some management skills, and be able to have the initial resources and money to set these systems up, right? Like we have CRMs and, just all the softwares that you have that everyone uses to operate and function. So there's some costs there, but it's just part of the business. So next, we're going to hit investors. So we earn money through investments such as stocks, bonds, real estate, and other assets. We're always seeking financial freedom, how to make our money that we have work for us. And that's another huge thing with real estate investing. A partner and I, we have, you may hear me talk about it in other shows. There's one sixplex that we have. I mean, man, this thing just pumps out cash. We have a very low interest rate, a low mortgage. So it's a lot of cash flow. It's very well maintained. We rarely have any problems, knock on wood. And every year, we sometimes twice a year, just depends, we pull money out, right? Take our dividends on that. And so not only is there equity in there over time, we can pull that money out and reinvest it into other projects, right? I'm not doing anything, right? Remember, investor, I have a property here that I maintain, and over time, the tenants are paying the mortgage down, and over time, the appreciation is going up. So I'm building that equity, right? I'm not doing anything besides the property manager. Really, the property manager handles everything. So I have access to that money, right? And not only do I have access to the equity, I have access to the profits of net cash flow after the mortgage and expenses are paid. I literally just 20 minutes before this podcast wired $15,000 to my account, right? So now I'm going to use that to reinvest in other things that we can do. And I did not swing a hammer, dig a ditch, or anything for that check, okay? So that's a brief idea of the investor mindset. So the employee, small business owner, or self-employed, big business owner, investor. So those are some of the characteristics and mindset of these quadrants. So remember, we're always trying to, if you're on the E and the S, we're trying to get you over to the B and I. So let's talk about that transitioning and how that happens. So if you're employee going to self-employed, You may have always heard like, first you have to have that mindset shift, right? You got to read the Rich Dad Poor Dad book. Another book that will change the way you think is, I'll tell you, when I was new to business and trying to figure it out, right? I went to a seminar at a ballroom in a hotel. And at this time, they were trying to sell a push button business, buy our computer and our software, and you just tap the button every day and you will get rich. It was like that, literally that type of seminar. And it was $17,000. And it was one of those times when it's like, they do the pitch and everyone gets up, they're running to the back of the room. People are swiping their credit cards to buy this automated system that's just going to change your life overnight. And I was like, well, don't have a credit card, don't have a good credit score, so I can't buy this business. And I couldn't even imagine it at that time. And the one thing the gentleman did do, he took this book, he raised it up, and he goes, if you don't buy the course, can you at least do me a favor and do one thing? Read this book. Go out and buy Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Napoleon Hill. All right, cool. I drove straight to the half-price bookstore in Paradise Valley Mall area and bought that book, and I read it. And it was fascinating. And I applied every chapter religiously. And immediately already started to notice, like, I swear, like the momentum, the positive energy, the results, right, that you just start getting in your life that you're just not used to, or never were exposed to, or never taught. It was amazing, and you can do it. And I recommend reading that book and putting it into action. So your mindset, right? The people you hang around with, that if they're not in real estate, they're probably not going to be able to give you the best idea or the best encouragement or the best how-to to get into the business. If anything, they're probably going to be more cautious and reserved because they're also in the E quadrant, right? So how are you going to get, if you want to be an I quadrant, how are you going to get advice for someone in the E quadrant? So let's keep that in mind. So what can you do in the E quadrant, right? So you got your job. You're working, full time. You're overworked, underpaid, and now you got to say, I got to make some more money. So I read the books. I'm working on the mindset shift. I see that it's real. I know it's real because when you go to AZREIA, it's real because people have been doing it. They've been around for 22 years. So obviously it's real. You don't need the proof of concept. You don't need to prove it to yourself that it's real because it is. People say, get a side hustle, right? Maybe, what are you good at, right? So it could be in real estate. It could be, hey, let me volunteer some time or work for an investor or take a second job with some type of real estate company to get exposed to it. That's not a bad idea. Or, how do I make extra money, right? I'd like to see you get extra money outside of your job so you can start saving it, so you can invest into yourself, like whether it's books, knowledge, coaches, mentors, or the resources you need to get into real estate. So what's something you can do, right? I mean, one thing I always say is, what do people tell you you're good at? If people ask you for advice, what is the topic that majority of people are always asking you advice on? I would start there. How can you make money doing that? It could be consulting. It could be giving advice. It could be writing Amazon books and selling them. I don't know. But I need you to start getting out of that mindset of, hey, I'm gonna have to sacrifice a little bit. I'm gonna have to work a little bit after work to get some extra money. I need to get ahead, right? You just got to have that hustle, that grind, and that commitment to wanting change in your life. And what that's going to do is start giving you experience of what it takes to be a business owner, what it takes to build a business, what it takes to be an investor, because you are taking on risk. You are taking away time from friends and family. You are using some of your personal money to invest into this new side hustle. So you are now becoming a business owner and investor. Okay. So What is something you could do to get yourself ahead? Next, let's go to S. So you went from employee to small business owner. So let's say you're a small business owner. What can you do? So I would start developing some systems, or using AI, right? Like that's a big thing now. Or what kind of systems, softwares, can you use to put in your business? What can you do to delegate in your business? Who can you hire, right? If there's in real estate, or excuse me, in business, it's all the same. I don't care if you're a janitor. I don't care if you're a doctor's office. There's certain things that need to happen in a business for it to run, and it doesn't matter the industry. So you need to figure out what you're missing, or what you need to delegate, or what kind of systems you need in your business, right? And get the education on it, right? And if you don't have, you're like, hey, I don't have the money to hire someone or get this trained. Well, I was taught by my mentor, always have mentors. You have to, you got to hire. If you can't hire, you got to trade, barter, or defer payment in order to get that piece of the puzzle into your business, so you can start developing and getting those outcomes that we talked about earlier. So key part of this, like I said, mentorship. Since day one of being in real estate or business, always had a mentor, or coach, or someone that I looked up to give me the guidance, right? How can I beat the learning curve a little bit? Even to this day, I have a mentor. Nothing's different, man. You have to always be a forever learner. Someone that, if you want to grow, you always have to be learning. One thing I do know is I don't know it all, right? So that's a couple simple things you can do from going from entrepreneur, employee, small business, and also the fundamental. Let me add just the fundamental business skills, right? Just the basics of learning, understanding taxes. My first 2 years in business, I had a business partner, and we were just making a lot of money in wholesaling real estate. No one talked about taxes. It sounds so obvious. It's kind of embarrassing, but we didn't pay taxes for 2 years. We did over 60 deals, deals ranging from 5K to 30K, just think about that. And for 10 years, I did an installment plan, and for 10 years, I paid the IRS $700 a month. So you think about that. So you don't want to be in that situation. Just that right there, right? So if you just had no idea how to do your bookkeeping or file your taxes, here at AZREIA, we have business associates, we have accountants here that are investor friendly. So just, check out our website and you'll be able to find them. So get the basic business skills is what I was getting at. Next, so let's go talk about going from, so now, you transition to the business owner, right? So now you got your systems running, you got the education, you got a mentor, you're investing in yourself, you got an employee, an assistant, you got some software and some things running, a sales rep or something in your company. And now you're making money, right? You're starting to have income coming in passively while your team is working. You got money in the bank account now. What do you do, right? So you take that money and you invest it, right? Once again, you're still investing in yourself. You're still getting the proper education to continue growing your business, because there's always different levels of this that you have to grow to. So, and also I always like to say, like, big business, right? When we hear Robert Kiyosaki or even like Grant Cardone or these big names online, they didn't do what a lot of us traditionally do. They didn't start wholesaling. They weren't door knocking, calling probate and foreclosures and stuff, and just grinding it out, right? These guys built big businesses. I know like Grant Cardone had a tax accounting company and maybe sold some type of business education, cars. Robert Kiyosaki, I remember back in the day, there was these neon wallets that went they're like novelty wallets. They went worldwide. Like, these guys made big chunks of money in this business quadrant and then parked it in real estate and bought a house or bought a small multifamily unit and just kept doing that for years and years. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh, I got 50 units, 50 houses, I got 100 units. And because their business are just making these big chunks of money and they're using it as a tax strategy and just parking it in real estate. But remember what I said about my property earlier, right? The tenants are paying down the mortgage and over time it's appreciating. So before you know it, years go by, they're running their business and their money's invested into real estate, and all these other benefits of time and real estate start fulfilling and becoming fruitful, right? So now they can access that, right? Now they're thinking, wow, I have all these houses. Then there's tools that you learn from your real estate investing team, which needs to be investor friendly, that we have here at AZREIA. Your accountants, your attorneys, your real estate agents, your property managers, your trades, right? So we have a list of business associates that provide real estate services to investors, and we also have a trades list that if you need air conditioner companies, pest control, plumbers, electricians, roofers, we have recommended vetted service providers in both categories for you. So now you're going to like self-directed IRAs, right? You want to start taking some of this profits, and now you're like, hey, let me take the profits from my business, put it in an IRA, then buy the properties. Now you're deferring taxes rather than just taking the cash and buying the house. Now you're being more strategic with it, more wealth planning. Or you might say, hey, just like going back to when we mentioned Monopoly, 4 greenhouses, 1 red hotel. So maybe now you're selling these smaller properties or these bundles of properties you've bought with your business, and then you're running it through a 1031 exchange, once again, to defer taxes, so you don't pay the capital gains hit when you sell. So you start getting into these situations of being more creative and using tools that are out there with the money you're making from your business and the real estate that you've been investing in. So now with that, then you're just monitoring what's happening, right? So you have your monthly meetings, your quarterly meetings. You're looking to see how your company's doing. You're looking to see how your investments are doing. And you make sure you're reaching your goals that you have set, and you make your adjustments as you go. So, and with all that being said, you are now that business owner that is the investor, right? You are the now, because you went through the process and from making that money in your business, you invested into these projects. So you are now the investor, right? So a lot there that we went over, and we could go so much deeper into this. So where are you at? What are you doing? What are you doing to get from the left side of the quadrant to the right side of the quadrant? So here at AZREIA, the Arizona Real Estate Investors Association, we provide education, networking, market information, and government affair information. So you, the real estate investor, can make the proper decisions and be well informed within your business. We've been doing that, like I said, for 22 years, delivering quality information. So we have education for you. All right. So one, we have workshops. We have special workshops. Like last month, we did a landlording 101 class. We've done a fix and flip bus tour. We've done wholesale training. We've done IRA training, tax trainings. So every month we have a specialized training for our members. So always check out the workshops. We bring in educational speakers, whether they're local or national. We just had gentleman Zach from Wicked Smart. He broke down creative financing. We've talked about lease options, seller carryback, subject twos, wraps. So these are strategies within real estate investing that you can enter and exit real estate deals on. So we have the education here. We don't have the $50,000 package or anything like that, but we have the fundamental trainings, the how to do it right, the basics, as well as some advanced training, so you can grow as an investor, and you're going to get the right information for Arizona real estate investors here. So education, we got you covered. We also have books. Yeah, books. You mentioned I wrote a book, Fearless Connections, right here. I talk about 8 or 9 stories of how my relationships here at AZREIA grew my business, how the best deals that I've gotten into, the best or the money I've raised, all has been here at AZREIA. And I talk about that in Fearless Connections. And then also Patrick Allen, which is a subgroup leader. He wrote the book on house hacking, which you know what it is and why it can be a great place to start buying a house and renting out the bedrooms, buying a fourplex, living in one, and renting out the other 3 to cover the mortgage, or so you don't have to come up with 25% down, just 3.5%. So there's so many things we have for you to learn. So we have books, we have ebooks, you name it. So networking, 15 events a month between Northern Arizona, Phoenix, and Tucson. Go to our calendar, azreia.org/calendar. Come out to the fix and flip group, the landlord group, the multifamily group, the women's group. We have all these different types of groups, whatever fits you. Just come meet like-minded people, share resources, get the resources you need, learn something. We have subgroup leaders that are leading each group. They are active investors in today's market. So they will get you in the right direction. They're there for you. So network with them, ask them questions. Bob Gomez, who's been doing our fix and flip group for the last 20 years, he's a expert investor, real estate agent. He will show you how to flip houses, right? He'll tell you what you need to know. So go shake the hands of the subgroup leaders and utilize their time, because they're volunteering their time for you. Masterminds, we have webinars, not like educational webinars. We do have private coaching, whether it's one-on-one or group. So it just depends what's going on at the time. So education's there, networking, check out the subgroup, check out our monthly meeting, the second Monday of the month. We have a market update. We have a trade show with all our business associates, so you get to meet them in person. Lots of networking. And then we always have an educational topic. That's on the second Monday of the month for Phoenix and second Tuesday of the month for Tucson. And then, talk to our business associates, right? Like I said, that's your real estate investing team. They're here. Thousands of our members use them. If they were not doing a good job or giving out the wrong information, they would not be here. So you have a great place to start. At least check them out, give them a call, ask them a question. All their information is on our website. So we have the resources here at AZREIA. If you don't see what you need or you don't know what you need, we'll give you a process to follow. I'm going to give you some homework. So I already told you to, read Rich Dad Poor Dad and Think and Grow Rich. But let's do this. Come up with some goals, right? And we'll help you create those goals. We'll help you organize those goals. So we do, as for new members, $25 a month or $249 a year. Comes with Home Depot discounts and tons of other discounts and benefits. Not mentioning everything I already went over. I'll give you a 30-minute onboarding session for new members. I will sit on the Zoom call with you. I'll analyze your situation and I'll figure out how to get you from employee to investor, or at least give you as much information as possible and show you how AZREIA can help you do that. So do the onboarding session, okay? And then education-wise, you want to get the beginner's bundle. The beginner's bundle is $299, very cheap. You get over 16 hours of training of the fundamental skills, how to comp a property, how to estimate repairs. You get 10 different attorney-approved contracts. We put a video in to show you how to use the contracts and the importance of contracts. We have marketing, negotiating, investing out of state, raising money. It's just overwhelming amount of information, but it's the fundamentals. Before you pay for a mentor or a coach or go dive deep into any strategy, you want to know the basics. You got to have a strong foundation. So you're going to do the onboarding session. You're going to check out the bundle. You're going to go to the beginners group, which I host for 2 hours. It's one of our subgroup meetings. I'll show you exactly how AZREIA will continue to support your career. I'll answer any of your questions. You'll walk out with them answered. And then you get a ticket to the launch pad if you get the bundle. So The launch pad is a 4.5-hour business planning session. So once you kind of figure out where you're at and what you want to do, we'll create a plan that you're going to stick with for the next year, right? The biggest mistake I see is people, what they do is they get so excited. There's so many ways to make money in real estate. I want to do sub 2. I want to flip a house. I want to be a landlord. I want to raise money. And then they spend 1 month on each one. And then after 6 months, they're flustered and frustrated, and then they stop. No, we got to determine what is that one. So go to AZREIA.org/ESA, Entrepreneurial Assessment. It's a free survey that you can take, a quiz, and it'll help you determine if you should be more active or passive. It'll help you. We want to do the best we can to help develop you as a real estate investor. And I don't want you to waste money and time jumping from 30 different places to 30 different meetings to 30 different strategies. And we've been doing this for 22 years. I will show you exactly what you need to do this the fastest and the right way. Now, then after you do the launch pad, you will have a game plan to execute, right? So the next 6 months is, if an action item is there for you to do and it's not in that book, you don't do it. Simple as that. So let's get you kicked off. You can do this. If I did it, you can do it. So as we wrap up, let's go over a couple things. So you got a to-do list. You got a long one. Just pay attention when you're going forward towards your goal. You're going to get sidetracked. The person that can catch themselves being off track the fastest and being fastest to get back on track is one of the most successful traits that I see in successful people. If it's like 3 months, 6 months, I got to get to that. I've been busy. Yeah, I know. I'm a guy who wouldn't want to do it so bad. But, this happened. That happened. You're going down the wrong route. If you're truly trying to reach retirement, you're truly trying to quit your job, you're truly trying to make a better life for you and your family, and 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, a year is just going and going, it's going to be hard. You got to cut that off. You got to get back on track. So get back on track. Check us out, AZREIA.org. Sign up for an event. And that's a wrap. That's what I got for today. Today we discussed the cash flow quadrant, going from employee to self-employed over to the right side, business owner and investor. Hopefully you found this useful, helpful. I look forward to the next podcast. Make sure to check out our last 200 episodes of everything real estate under the sun. We have great interviews with member spotlights, national investors, and definitely local investors, and just picking their brains. There's so many ways to do this business, and there's just so many great people in our community that you can learn from. So check out the podcast, subscribe, share, like it. I would appreciate it.
Thanks for listening to the AZREIA Show with your hosts, Marcus Maloney and Mike Delprete. We hope you enjoyed this episode. If you found this information valuable, head over to AZREIA.org and learn more about our community.